Now, today I'm going to talk about the future of AI, how we as humans merge with our machines. What does that mean? So let me start with a game. Are all of you familiar with Minecraft? Do you know the game? Okay, it's a game like Legos where you build stuff, extremely popular. Well, NVIDIA actually wanted to create an AI that could learn to play Minecraft. Why Minecraft? Because Minecraft is an open world. You can do anything you want in Minecraft. You can build anything you want. So how does an AI decide what to do in this environment? And how does it succeed? That's what NVIDIA wanted to know. So they built what is called an autonomous AI agent. Theirs is called Voyager. And an agent is something an AI that doesn't just answer your questions like ChatGPT, but actually can go out and perform complex tasks and can learn as it does those. So they built this AI agent. It would set a goal in the game, generate its own code, take an action, and then most importantly, it would actually reflect on its action. It would think, analyze what it did, and decide if that was a good thing moving it further towards its goal. And when it did this, it outperformed all other AIs in Minecraft. So they made it extremely good. Now you may be asking yourself right now, why does NVIDIA care about playing games? Why would they spend all this time creating an AI to play a game? Well, the answer is because this AI was actually designed to become much more than playing games. It was designed to become a foundational agent. Now, what are foundational agents? These are the AIs that can learn to do things in a simulated environment and in the real world. So what NVIDIA is doing now is they are actually taking this AI, further developing it so that they can simulate robots. And these robots can go out and learn to do things, like learn how to climb stairs, all sorts of different types of stairs. And then they can simulate different weather conditions. What if the stairs are icy, so the robots slip? What if the stairs are covered in water? What if it's something entirely different, like sand, that the robot has to navigate? And instead of just one simulation, because it's on the computer, they can run 10,000 or 20,000 simulations at the same time to figure out all the different ways their robot can perform a task. The next thing that NVIDIA did is they took the simulated data and they applied it to real-world robots. This is what NVIDIA is doing right now. It's their new platform. So these robots can learn, in this case, how to prepare food in a simulated environment with all sorts of different conditions, and then you can take them into the real world, and they can test what they learned in the simulation against real life. So this is the future of how we train robots. Robots are being trained right now, thousands and thousands of different scenarios in simulations, and then we're bringing them into the real world. The next step beyond that is evolutionary robots. So imagine a robot that when it learns something, it can not only change its behavior, but it could change its own design. It can literally go back into the simulation, because it's connected to the internet, and redesign itself. So for example, this robot has these little knobby legs. Maybe these legs are good for crawling up a hill of sand, but maybe they're not so good on ice. So it might redesign itself so that it could perform better in the winter conditions. And what we're going to see is robots constantly interacting with the real world, gathering data, and at the same time taking that data back into the simulation, making the simulation better, and then reprogramming their code, and ultimately reconfiguring their bodies. Now, Google did another experiment. They created an AI that could learn to create video games. Video games. Now, how did they do this? They did this simply by having their AI watch 30,000 hours of video games. So the AI would just watch video games. It wouldn't play them. It would watch videos of human beings playing the games. And once it did that, the AI could actually learn how to create a game. So you could talk to the AI now, Google's AI, type in text, and it can create a game for you. You can say, I want to create a game in a volcanic setting on a mountain where I have to jump over lava flows. It will create that game. Or you could draw a picture, like a soccer ball and a goal. And just by drawing the picture, the AI can create the game. Now, why would Google want to create this? Again, they don't care about creating games. What they are designing is a new type of AI agent that can learn by watching. You don't have to teach it anything. You don't have to program it. Simply by watching these games, it learned how to create them. So Google wants to send these robots into the world, and you imagine one of these robots on an assembly line in a factory. All it has to do is watch what the workers do, the humans do, and then the robot can do what the humans do, copy them. Or let's say you bring a robot into your home, and you know you like to put away the dishes in a certain place, you like to organize your kitchen in a certain way. The robot of the future will just watch you. It'll follow you around, watch you, and then it will do exactly as you do. It will learn from you. So we will have these robots entering the world now that can look at the world and learn from it. That's a huge leap forward. And you combine that with the simulations, and suddenly you have something very, very powerful and very, very flexible. I know Kevin Warwick. He's a professor in the UK, and he was the first person to actually take his nervous system, his nerves, wire them to the internet, and use them to control a robot. So he connected his nerves to this robot, and he could actually move the robot around. So we are going to be entering a future where we will embed chips in our bodies that will actually be speaking and controlling the machines and robots around us. This is the first step. And Kevin Warwick is a little crazy. He not only connected himself to a robot, for a year he connected his nerves to his wife's nerves so they could feel each other in a way that we don't feel each other. They were actually connected. Now that may be too close for some people. You might not want to do that with your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband, but he did it. And he said it was amazing. When his wife was at work and he was at work, they could feel each other when they were in different places. At Duke University, they ran an experiment. They took 3 monkeys and they put chips in their brain. Now, the interesting thing about this experiment is each of these monkeys could only see a 2-dimensional screen. But the 3 monkeys together would receive a reward only if they moved on the computer screen a cursor to exactly the right three-dimensional location. So how does a monkey, each monkey can only see two dimensions. They each see a different two-dimensional space. How can they move it in three-dimensional space to exactly the right point to get rewarded with food? Well, you know what? Their brains did it. Their brains, because they were connected through the internet with chips, actually figured out how to work together. Now, if you ask the monkeys, how did they do it? They don't know. It happened at a subconscious level. They were playing with it, and when all three brains got it to the right point, food came out. And they got really good at this. What does this tell us about the future? What does it say? It says we can actually create a brain net. That's what they called it at Duke University, a brain net. If we have chips in our brains will learn to collaborate, not consciously, but subconsciously. So you can imagine a future where all of us, our brains are connected to the internet, like Elon Musk is imagining. But in that future, all of humanity might become a single networked computer, where the computers are both hardware, are silicon-based, and biological computers, are actual soft brain tissue. And we may solve problems. Nobody knows. We haven't done this. But we may be able to solve problems subconsciously as humanity and cooperate in ways we don't do today. It's an experiment we haven't run, but it's very interesting if you extrapolate from this simple experiment. So at Toronto University, which I visited, they are actually doing what's called EEG. These are caps you wear, and they're very simple. It's been around a long time, this technology, and it reads your brain waves. Now, this means you don't have to get a chip in your brain, which I don't recommend. I do not. But with these caps, they are using AI. And using AI, they can take the data from the brain, and they've actually figured out how, when this person looks at an image of a face, it could be on a computer screen or a real face, the AI can pull from their brains the image, can actually extract the image from their brain. Think about that. It's incredible technology. What if you witness a crime? You might be able to pull an image of the crime from your brain in the future, not today. This is a very simple still image, but they're using different technologies now, like fMRI, to actually even pull video from your brain, to pull moving images or scenes from your brain. We all know our brains construct these images. They're not real. It's not like taking a picture. So the fact that we can even pull them out of our brain is a huge step forward. And this technology is going even further. So what we are discovering is that our brains are very plastic. They're elastic. They can change. We can actually interpret many types of data. So this is a friend of mine. His name is David Eagleman. He's a professor at Stanford. He developed a vest that you wear. And this vest actually has a microphone in it. And it will take sound waves, so anybody talking or any music, and it will create vibrations on your skin. Did you know that he tested this out with deaf people? They cannot hear. And when they wore this vest for a few days, only a few days, they started to hear, but not through their ears. They heard through their skin. So the vibrations on the skin, these little vibrations, our brains are capable of actually interpreting any data that comes through our nervous system and looking for patterns. And they began to recognize speech and sound and make associations with different sounds. And over time, they could learn to actually hear through their skin. Now, if that isn't amazing enough, there's another thing called the Brainport. This is a pair of glasses. And on the glasses, you can see there's a camera here. And then there's a wire to a device. Do you know what they do with this device? They put it on their tongue. They put the device on their tongue. And the camera takes images, takes pictures, and actually takes the data and starts making little stimulation on the tongue, little electric stimulation on their tongue. After a few days, a blind person wearing these glasses and this device on their tongue could see through their tongue. Did you know you can see through your tongue? Not taste, you can see. Now, how is this even possible? Well, the tongue is very dense with nerves. That's why they chose the tongue. Much more dense with nerves than the skin. And the image they see is not perfectly clear. It's rough outline, right? But if you're blind and suddenly you can see where a step is, you can see where a table is that you don't bump into, it's amazing. Huge step forward. My question to you is, we know very clearly that we can take any sort of data, feed it into our brains, and our brains are pattern matching machines. They're like AI. They look for patterns, and they make correlations between the real world and the patterns they're receiving. So any electric signal we put into our brain, whether through video, whether through vibrations, whether through scent, whether through taste, these are all just electric vibrations. We can create experiences in our brain that go beyond anything we know today. So these are called extrasensory experiences. Extrasensory. So think about it. You know a dog? A dog can hear sounds you cannot hear. But imagine if you have a sensor that can pick up these sounds and then transmit them directly into your brain. Suddenly you can hear sounds like a dog. You know, a dog can smell things you cannot smell. A dog has a sense of smell that's so much better. Imagine if you had a sensor that could pick up scents like a dog and send them directly into your brain. So the future of AI and merging with our machines means we are going to be able to expand our sense of the universe. We might see colors you cannot see now. We all think we know what the color red is, what the color green is, what the color purple is. Do you know what the color Hoffman is? We don't know, but there may be a color out there that we cannot see because it's a wavelength of light. But when we have sensors, advanced sensors, through our machines, through our robots, embedded in our bodies, and a brain-computer interface, suddenly our world, we call it an Umwelt, our world of experience will grow. And we can be functioning in this world in a way we never did. Now, combine that with the metaverse. Combine everything I've told you today with where we're headed with our technology. So we will be entering a new phase, and I'm not saying this will happen tomorrow. This may be 10, 20 years away. But this technology, it's in the lab, so it's going to happen. We can start to create machine-generated realities that feel as real as the real world. So all of us, when we talk about the Matrix, how do we get from the Vision Pro today, which is cool, but it's still, you know it's not real, to a metaverse that feels like it's the real world? I've just showed you the path. We can create any sensation, any sense of smell, any sense of touch, any sense of sound, vision, directly feeding, they're just signals into our brain. And our brains will adapt. And we can start to combine not just virtual reality, but also augmented reality. So we might not need these bulky headsets, which nobody wants to wear for very long. I mean, if you use a Vision Pro, you don't want to use it for very long. Even the glasses, they're hard to navigate. We are going to be entering a future where we can start to layer digital content directly over the real world through brain-computer interfaces. What will it take to make this happen? Well, it will take two things to make this happen. One, well, we're advancing on AI. Number two, we need to develop the hardware that interfaces with our brains to actually work at a very high fidelity. And there are many companies in Silicon Valley and around the world working on them. I worked with some of them, consulted. And number three, we have to make it as easy to use as this device. Because nobody wants to use a device that's harder than their phone. We've discovered that. Everybody gravitates towards the simplest device. When we do that, all of a sudden, all this hype that we've been hearing will start to become reality. So, I want to ask you, everyone in the room, I've told you some fun ideas about the future of AI and how we can merge with our machines. What comes next?